Hey, ELD2. So, we are going to read one of the stories in our textbook today. It is called Building Bridges. You should be able to see here on your computer screen that we are starting on page 30. The first thing we are going to look at is the vocabulary here on the left. You've already studied some of these words on your Quizlet list, but let's go ahead and review these right now. We have the words career, career, it basically means the job that you have. For example, my career is being a teacher. Comedian, someone who makes other people laugh by telling jokes. Consent, consent, that means agreeing to something or giving permission. Engineer, engineer, usually a person who designs buildings or bridges. Obstacle, obstacle, something that gets in your way and makes your job difficult. Project, project, like you might have a school project that you need to work on. React, react, it's how you respond when you hear something or see something. And stubborn, stubborn, it's usually somebody who doesn't want to change. All right, so we're going to be reading Building Bridges today. It's a short story by Andrea Davis Pinkney. I'm going to skip the character for now, and we're going to come back to that later on. For now, I'm just going to read the story. So follow along in your textbook, please. Andrea Davis Pinkney, born in 1963, and is still alive. Early in her life, Andrea Davis Pinkney decided she wanted a career in writing. Part of the reason she made that choice was television. One of her favorite shows featured Mary Tyler Moore. Moore played the role of a TV journalist in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Miss Pinkney wanted to be like this character, so she went to college and studied journalism. Her other favorite TV character was a boy on the Waltons who wanted to be a writer. He always had paper with him to write what he saw and experienced. Today, Miss Pinkney carries a notebook everywhere. She likes to observe people, noting what their lives might be like. Then she uses these ideas for the characters in her stories. She admits, I'm a horrible speller. I'm a very bad grammarian. If someone had told me, because you can't spell and your grammar is awful, you can't write, I would have given up and not tried. That's not all there is to it. Writing is really about communicating your ideas. So let's go ahead and read Building Bridges. At first, Mama Lil said it plain and simple. No. Then, like always, she spoke her full mind. Baby, get that backward idea out of your head. That grit work ain't no place for you. And besides, I ain't never heard of no girls to be doing that. You need to be getting yourself a real summer job. Something civilized. Mama Lil pushed her breakfast plate aside and took a final drag on her cigarette. And don't ask me again about signing that permission paper, she said. I ain't going to be the one who allows you to take part in such foolishness. I leaned back in my kitchen chair, my arms folded tight. The chair's vinyl stuck to my skin, taping itself to the place where my t-shirt scooped down and back. It was as if, like Mama Lil, that chair wanted to hold me in its clutches. I'd been living with Mama Lil since I was 6, when my own mama and daddy were killed in an apartment building fire. Lillian Jones was my mom's mother. Everybody on our street called my grandmother Mama Lil, and that's what I called her too. Mama Lil and I had been butting heads ever since I could remember. And the older I got, the more at odds we were. She thought I weighed too much and dressed badly. I thought she smoked too much and overdid it with her fake gold chains. Time after time she asked me, "How you ever gonna land a decent man with them chunky arms and those t-shirts that put your navel on parade? No self-respecting 17-year-old should be letting it all hang out like that." But then, too, I had a sister-to-sister connection to Mama Lil that not many kids had with their grandmas. I was Mama Lil's only true family, and she was the only real parent I had. If I ever left her, she'd have nobody, and if she passed on, I'd be alone in the world. For weeks, I'd been asking Mama Lil to let me join the youth renovation team. It was a group of kids that had been chosen by city officials to work with engineers to help repair the Brooklyn Bridge. The project would last the summer and pay good money. It would help me get to college where I wanted to study engineering. But Mama Lil wasn't having it. To her, I was stooping to do a bunch of low-down mess work. Truth be told, Mama Lil was scared of something she didn't know. She hardly ever left our neighborhood in Brooklyn. To her, the Brooklyn Bridge was a mystery. And I think that deep down, Mama Lil was afraid something bad would happen to me, the same way it happened to my mama and daddy. Also, Mama Lil couldn't read or write very well. I read most of her mail to her and helped her sign her checks. The 2-page consent form she had to sign, giving me permission to work on the bridge project, was a challenge to her pride. Then there's the fact that I would be the only girl working with the bridge crew. "If God had meant you to do man's work, he would have made you a man," she said. All these strikes stood against me ever getting to work on that bridge. But the biggest obstacle of all, the thing that made Mama Lil the most stubborn, was my dream of becoming an engineer. Mama Lil didn't fully understand what an engineer was. I'd tried to explain it to her. I'd shown her my sketchbook full of drawings of city structures and machines, but Mama Lil didn't know any engineers. She'd never seen one at work. And to make matters worse, she'd asked her friends down at Rimley's beauty parlor about engineering. They'd convinced her that I was headed down the wrong path. "Ain't no black woman doing no engineering," she said. "Engineering," I'd corrected. In some respects, Mama Lil was right. It was true that there weren't many black women engineers. I knew from the get-go that if I hoped to become an engineer, my road ahead would be lonely and hard. But I wanted to build bridges more than anything. A week passed. A week of Mama Lil and I not speaking about the bridge project or the permission form. It was due, signed by her, in 4 days. That's when the renovation was supposed to begin. On the Saturday night before the project was to start, Mama Lil did something that got me real mad. She brought home a summer job application from Rimley's beauty parlor. "Baby, I went and done you a big favor," she said. "Vernice Rimley needs somebody to sweep hair and clean her sinks. She can't pay you nothing to start, but you'd get a heap of training. By next summer, you'd be doing perms and manicures and getting tips on top of a regular salary. And you could even bring in your paper tablet. You could draw during your breaks." Mama Lil put the application down on the coffee table. "Baby, if you put your mind to it, you'd be awfully good at doing hair. Give it a chance, child," she urged. My forehead and upper lip grew moist with the sweat that anger brings on. "Mama Lil," I began. "Look at me." But Mama Lil lit a cigarette. She inhaled, then closed her eyes to release a stream of smoke. "I'm enjoying my cig, baby. she said. It tastes better with my eyes closed. I leaned in the doorway, my anger rising. Mama Lil, your eyes are always closed. Closed to seeing me. I don't want to spend my summer sweeping hair. The bridge is where my heart's at. Mama Lil. She was doing her best to tune me out. Yeah, that's right, I said, my voice strained with frustration. Try to make me and my dreams disappear, like your puffs of smoke. Mama Lil opened her eyes. They looked weary, and her expression looked pained. She sighed. Baby, I'm an old woman. I don't have many of my own dreams to go after. Her voice trailed off to silence. Then her face softened. For the first time ever, I saw Mama Lil's eyes fill with regret. What little bit of dreaming I got left in me, she said, I'm putting to you. Mama Lil let out a heavy breath. Then she admitted what we'd both known all along. Your dreams are the kind that'll take you away from here. Baby, they'll take you away from your Mama Lil. I shrugged. Mama Lil said, That's an upsetting truth, baby. It makes my heart hurt every time I think on it. Mama Lil, I gotta find my way, I said slowly. If that bridge renovation wasn't tapping on my soul, I'd go ahead and sweep hair down at Rimley's. For once, Mama Lil was looking into my face, hearing my words. Let me go, Mama Lil. Let me dream, I pleaded softly. Mama Lil sat as still as a statue. I reached into my pocket to find the bridge project consent form. I unfolded it and set it on the coffee table next to the application from Rimley's. Mama Lil, I said carefully, if you don't sign this, if you won't sign it, I'll sign it myself. I've been helping you sign checks and letters for years now. I can sign your name on this consent form. Nobody'll know the difference. The next morning, I awoke to the smell of ham coming from the kitchen. My clock said 5:36, and the bridge renovation crew was scheduled to meet at 7. I threw on my t-shirt and jeans and grabbed my sketchbook. Hey, Mama Lil, I said, entering the kitchen. Mama Lil peered at me over the top of her narrow glasses. Glasses she wore only for reading. Sit, baby. Your ham's ready, she said. I shrugged, slid into my chair. The hands on the kitchen clock were settling on 6. Mama Lil served both our plates. She sat down across from me and started eating. She was acting like it was any other morning. She chatted on about her late-night comedy shows and the pigeons that nested on the ledge of her bedroom window. I was certain she'd done away with the consent form from the bridge project and was doing her best to ignore the whole thing. I ate in silence. I was wondering if the bridge crew leader would let me onto the project without signed permission. I'd have to leave for the site soon if I wanted to get there on time. I finished my last bite of ham, then I said firmly, Mama Lil, I'm going to the bridge. I know, baby, she said. That's when Mama Lil reached into the pocket of her house dress and pulled out the consent form. You gonna need this, she said, sliding the papers across the table. I unfolded the form, which had become worn and crumpled, but Mama Lil hadn't signed it. It was the same as it had always been. Mama Lil could see the upset pinching at my face. Now hold it, baby, she said. Don't be so quick to put on that down-in-the-mouth expression. But you didn't sign the form, Mama Lil. Calm down, child. Mama Lil's tone was solid. She said, You're jumping out the gate too fast. The project's going to start without me, I snapped. Mama Lil's eyes looked red tired. I've been up most of the night, baby, she said. I've been thinking, praying, and trying my best to read that permission paper. They sure got a whole bunch of words on that thing, just to say I'm going to let you help fix a bridge. I could feel my whole body fill with relief. Mama Lil said, I may not know how to read that good, but I do know I ain't supposed to sign something I ain't fully read. Mama Lil pushed up her glasses up her nose. They were speckled with dots of grease that had sprung from the hot ham skillet. Will you help me read the permission paper, baby? She asked. Will you help me understand what it's saying to me? I slid my chair to Mama Lil's side of the table. Together we read the consent form. When we were done, Mama Lil took a pen from her house dress pocket. She held it awkwardly and signed the form with her crooked handwriting. She gave her signature a good looking over. Then she folded the form and pressed it into my hand. Baby, that bridge is lucky to have you, she said. I hugged Mama Lil good and hard. Then I got up to go. I smiled big, right at her. Yeah, it is, I said. Okay, that's the end of Building Bridges. I enjoy that story. I hope you did too.